So this is something we train our angels on. What do we do when a fall occurs? So I'm definitely saying is immediate first response. I mean, we do never, ever let somebody laying on the floor for 2 and 3 minutes when we realize they fell. I mean, like I said, there are going to be instances where we do not know they fall because they fell in the bathroom or they fell in their room. But the minute you realize there was a fall, you want to respond immediately. So whatever you're doing, it's not important at that point.
Yeah.
And then you check for injuries. And from there, like I said, it's different for all of them. So the ones who are not, so for the ones who are not on hospice, if there's a severe injury, they're calling 911 before they even call us, before they're notifying anybody. 911 is called first, and then they're calling management and be like, hey, we had a severe fall, we had severe injuries, letting you know, we sent them out, we called 911. If there's only minor injuries, you want to check for the vitals. You want to make sure the blood pressure is okay, the oxygen level is okay, and then they report to management. They call either me or Mandy, and then they call hospice. And then we decide if we have the angels calling the families or if we calling the family. It really depends on the family member. Sometimes it's better when Mandy and I call. It depends on how difficult the family member is.
I think that's just a protocol that can be whatever your house wants it to be. It doesn't, if you only want management to call families after a fall, then that's something that you guys can just put in your policy. I think a lot of our angels have been there for a while and they have really good relationships and really good rapport with the families. And so that's when we say, hey, it's okay if they call the families. But I think that's kind of up to Eva and Mandy on that decision.
And after that, like I said, document. So you do want to file an incident report. That's another thing you're also going to need for state. Like if you get a state visit, they want to see all your incident reports.
Yeah, and I have a call that's already pre-recorded on how to fill out an incident report, what an incident report is, what it entails. And so I deep dived into that. So if you don't know what an incident report is, make sure to look back on that so you have an understanding of how to fill it out and what it entails.
So we also, I don't know how our incident reports are set up in the ECP. Mandy and I can go actually in there and do an investigation of that incident later. What also helps us on the fall prevention. Okay, we can see, okay, where did the fall occur? When did it happen? Is there any changes in the medication? So it actually helps us to see if we do need to make some changes in the house, maybe, or in the routine or in the medication. So all of our families and caregivers in fall prevention. So educating the families about fall risk, this is definitely something you do want to talk to your families about, especially when they're moving in at the beginning and maybe this is their first time having their family away from home or in assisted living, memory care. They do need to know falls are going to happen. They do want to know what you do to prevent them, what you do to minimize those risks, but you also need to educate them. Look, these things are going to happen. Then your staff, they need to report the changes in the residence to us so we can adjust the care plan. We can talk to the families. We can talk to the nurses or outside service, whatever we need to do to minimize the risks for them. And then we want to discuss the risks. So we actually do that during our team meetings when we do have falls or other incidents, even if it's like behavior or all these things, we discuss it actually with our staff and see what can we do as a team to prevent this from happening again. You always have I don't know, Mandy and I we like to discuss a lot of things with our team because at the end of the day, they are the ones who are taking care of your grandparents. They are your eyes on the floor. They are your hands on the floor. And they know what's going on the floor 24/7. Like, I mean, that's one thing I always like to work the floor. Personally, I'm always glad when I have at least like one day a month where I can work the floor because it gives me insight, okay, what is actually going on the floor right now. It's always easy to manage from your office when you don't know how bad it is.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them can have declines at the same time. If you have 3 or 4 residents, they all start showing behavior at the same time, it's gonna be a totally different work environment than it maybe been 2 weeks ago. So I need to experience that for myself. So because I never want to ask them anything that is not realistic. So I'm not going to tell my staff to do anything that's not realistic. And that's another thing. You want to encourage your open communication within the team and with the team members.